Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of What Would Mom Say? You guys, today's episode is really near and dear to my heart because I think that if you can sort of make this advice your own, you'll be a lot better off a lot earlier for it. So the name of the video is called Trajectories. You guys, so what's a trajectory? Try saying that a bunch. Trajectory. What's a trajectory? It is when we are propelled forward in a certain direction. And so I want you guys to imagine yourself on the ground on Earth. And let's say your goal is to get to a distant star. So, we have our sun, and that's our star, and there's a million other stars out there. And so from Earth, if you start off on a certain trajectory, you need to make sure that it's very precise, because if you are even off by a tiny deviation, just even a slight deviation, you are going to be in a completely other area of the sky in the long run. So this is how I see it. Now I see it as I think of myself as a galaxy, and I think of myself as being propelled forward, and in order to get to the place that I need to go, I need to make sure that my trajectory is always on course. Does that make sense? So one of the things that I want you guys to think about, and I want to bring this back down to a much smaller scale, you guys. So I'm going to start with a little quote here. This is my own quote. If somebody else has said this, I have no idea, but this is something that I like to say. Tiny deviations will take you to an entirely different outcome. Put me on that. So if you make tiny different deviations to your standard, you will get to a different place in the long run. So let's just say that this is our target. This is the target that we're aiming at. And let's say that this is us. Let's say me. I'll say me. Okay, so here's me. Here's my target. So I probably start off with the intention of just going straight to this target. But maybe along the way, I get knocked down by losing my job. It takes me off target, okay? So now I'm way off target. I need some kind of thrust to push me right here to get me back on track, to go back in that direction, right? Okay, so we need a little thruster. We need a little thruster module there. We're back on track. Here we go. Something else in life is going to come at us. You never know what it is, and it's going to knock us off course again, and we might start going in this direction, okay? Well, we need another thruster to set us back on the right course. All right? And so you guys, this happens in all areas of our life. Like, this will happen with our money. This will happen with our weight, with our exercise, with our credit cards, with our investing, with maybe our businesses. It will happen in our romantic relationships, where we're constantly needing to review our target and to make sure that our thrusters have set us back on this trajectory where we can end up reaching our goals. Now, what would happen if we took the same example, all right, and we're on the same trajectory to this target, and we get knocked off track, okay? We get knocked off track, but instead of correcting it immediately and using some kind of correction course, we just kept going in that direction. Now our trajectory is going to be completely thrown off, And we are going to need some kind of a huge effort to put us back on track. We're going to need some kind of a huge propulsion system from there to get us going. And unless we get that one exactly right, this big push might take us into the wrong direction. So I guess what I'm trying to say, you guys, is it's really important for you to know what your target is and to correct your course little bits at a time as you go. Like, let me give you an example raising children. You have these brilliant, beautiful little people that you have been gifted with. Yay you. All right? You get to be a mom or a dad. Congratulations. Now, these little people, they always want to do their best and they're sweet, but they maybe don't know, well, a real life example. Like this morning, one of my children dropped their homework on the floor and one of my other children, not realizing it, stepped on their homework. Well, instead of using their words to say to their sibling, hey, could you get off my homework, please, with your foot? They chose to kick their sibling, kick their leg out from under them, and take the homework and go. Now, I only noticed this when the little one was bawling because the other one had kicked them, and I had to say, well, what happened? So what I had to do was I immediately had to go to the one who used the brute force in the kicking, and I needed to correct the course. So that one needed a little bit of disciplining and talking to correct the course, to know that, hey, when something doesn't go our way, we need to use our words instead of our feet or our fists. Here's another good example in a romantic relationship. I love yelling. I love yelling to solve fights. Well, I don't really love yelling anymore, but it comes very naturally to me. I grew up with a lot of people around, and we used our voices all the time. Now, this does not work in my current romantic relationship. They're very soft and gentle and quiet and sort of internalize a lot more. And so I had to correct the course of how to deal with issues because the target that we were looking for was peace and harmony, right? And yelling wasn't taking us to peace and harmony in our problem solving. So I had to correct the course. And so another good example is in money. In money, you might have this goal of where you want to get to in money, and then all of a sudden, you need a new roof. All of a sudden, your rent goes up. All of a sudden, you lose your job. You have all these little opportunities to get off course, right? And what you need is the tiny little corrections to get you back on course. So, in conclusion, what I think I'd like you guys to ask yourselves is are you on a trajectory to complete your goals? Are the decisions that you're making getting you to the end goal? And if they're not, try to correct your course, you guys. It only takes tiny corrections if you catch these early on. It takes a massive correction. That is very difficult if you leave these deviations go too long. Don't allow deviations to take you, to a different solar system. Stay on course. I love you guys. You're brilliant. You're amazing. You're my favorite people. I love you to bits. I want the best for you. Go be brilliant. That's all I have to say about that. I love you guys. Bye-bye.